My favorite thing about Shipt since I signed up for Target Circle 360? No price markups when I order same-day delivery from tons of local stores. Only a handful of alcohol retailers and items don't count. I won't lie, I've had too much fun being like, markups on groceries? Not in my fridge. Markups on pet food? Not for my DOG. Markups on tools, electronics, home goods, meds? Not in my house. Anyway, it's awesome. Order now at shipt.com/360. Terms apply.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
America's beverage companies are investing in America. We're American companies, making American products with American workers in America's hometowns. We're local bottlers and manufacturers, operating in all 50 states, employing more than 275,000 Americans in good-paying jobs, delivering for the nation, because we believe in the promise of America and the people who make it great. Learn more at WeDeliverForAmerica.org. Paid for by the American Beverage Association.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Well, that's what I wanted to see Robertson do. And still Robertson, getting his shot in, and a goal! Robertson!
Hello, welcome to the Tricky Talks podcast. With the 2025-26 fixtures now released, we're going to discuss that and look at the good, the bad and the ugly. Plus, we'll catch up on all the latest news from the City ground. Here with me to discuss that and more is Chels. How are you doing?
Hello, yes, I'm good, thank you. How are you, Simon?
Yeah, very well, thank you. And Mollo is here as always too. How are you doing, sir?
All good, thank you.
Great. So lots to get through. We're going to start with some big breaking news in that it has been announced Nuno has signed a new 3-year contract. And it made me laugh, guys, because the social media team put out a post at 5:55 this morning and it was a little teaser. And I'm thinking, who on earth is going to be up at that time of the morning to see that? Given the fact that they then shortly announced it before most people had got up for breakfast anyway. So what are your thoughts on that, guys? Massive first big signing of the summer. It happens to be the manager. Chelsea, what do you think?
Well, I think that's going to shut up a lot of people, Gary Neville included in that, especially after the, I'll put it in inverted commas, altercation between Marinakis and Nuno on the pitch, which, I mean, it just goes to show us all paper talk, isn't it? He wants to be at the club. Everyone wants him at the club. So, yeah, I think that shut up a lot of people this morning, but I'm absolutely elated. Ironically, I did actually wake at 5:55 this morning and didn't even look at my phone, very, very oddly. So maybe it was just this weird subconscious thing that I should have woken at that time to have a look. So, yeah, very, very pleased this morning.
So those Jedi mind sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going from Nuno to you, Chelsea, special.
See, that's what I mean. I'll get all the inside knowledge, don't worry.
Yeah, but absolutely massive signing, isn't it, Mollo? And perhaps one of the most important ones they're going to make this summer.
Yeah, I think, as you know, I was aware of this and I so wanted to share it, but knew it was not a good idea until it was officially announced. Gary Neville, what are you saying now exactly? What is it you're saying, Gary Neville? Should he now be negotiating his exit with Mr. Marinakis with a 3-year contract under his belt? Is that what you're saying exactly? Mr. Neville, you've got it so wrong. But don't worry, history shows we won't expect an apology. But in all seriousness, the most important signing of all, no matter what anyone says, we need all these players, we need this, we need that, we want to keep this player, of course we do. But to have Nuno tied down for another 3 years, so long as it doesn't go the same way as our last couple of contract managers that have signed up, we'll be fine. And it just means there's 3 years is long term in football, as we know. A week is a long time in football, let alone a year and 3 years. But now he can plan forward, continue to develop, continue to make adjustments here and there, on and off the pitch. really exciting news, probably gone under the radar. And I love that the club did it at 5:55 this morning. maybe there was a feeling that the news was perhaps too hard to keep in. Really, really pleased.
Do you think Gary Neville ought to negotiate his exit with Sky?
No comment.
Yeah,
I
comment.
have a lot of time for Sky Sports and everything they do, and he is a key part of their coverage. I don't want to get done for libel here, because actually Neville is someone you can't help but quite like. He's got a likability factor, hasn't he? But I always describe him, and it's just an opinion, as the most eloquent, stupid person I've ever heard. Does that make you see what I mean?
I know what you mean.
That he speaks so well, but what he's saying is sometimes, often, stupid, for want of a better phrase, or ill of thought. But being the most stupid, eloquent person, then again, I guess I'm surprised I'm not stupid and maybe not that eloquent. Perhaps it's better to be his way round and his salary. So there we go.
Yeah, Gary, we're sorry. We know you're listening, Gary, so we apologise.
I really like him as a guy. Obviously, he shoots from the hip with his stupidity about Forest sometimes. And he's the multi-millionaire, and I'm clearly not. So who's right and who's wrong?
Right, it's not the Gary Neville show, so we'll move on from him. But just before we draw a line under the Nuno news, given the Nuno song that we all know and love, do you think he's going to go out on the piss with himself? Celebrate.
He can do whatever he likes.
Yeah, drinking. I'm going to definitely find a Madry tonight and celebrate with him, I think.
That's a good shout. I like that. A nice cold one on daylight today.
Did you know Madry's not even Spanish or a foreign beer? It's English. It's brewed in the UK. Did you know that? It's not foreign at all.
Oh, wow.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Burton-on-Trent.
Yeah. Anyway, more breaking news this week. News has been reported from various sources that the stadium redevelopment is going to be finally ratified next week on the 26th of June at a council meeting. And that news has been a long time coming. And now I know that it's going to cause, given the timing, there's nothing wrong with the timing, but the stadium development does need to happen at some point. And maybe the likelihood is that it's going to start in earnest in terms of physical constructions at the end of the 25-26 season. I would imagine why delay it, but great news that it's finally on the horizon, because they need to maximise the attendances, don't they, at City Ground. There's clearly not enough tickets to go around at the moment. What are your thoughts on that, Mollo?
I'm conflicted for obvious reasons. As an A Block regular, I'll miss A Block. I get the toilets are no good and who needs hot water anyway. But for me, you hit the nail on the head there, Simon. We need more seats. There's more demand. I don't even think it's particularly, in the modern day, a financial issue in terms of bringing in more income. Maybe in terms of hospitality and that type of thing, I suppose. But it's not going to make a massive difference to our ticket income will increase, but it's not going to be groundbreaking that we're going to go out and sign, people like Yamin Yamal or whatever. But it's more about the community. There's a feeling at the moment, isn't there? There's a bit of a haves and have-nots. Those of us that have been lucky, well, you say lucky enough, that have sat through the dross and got season tickets. Our reward has been this last 2 or 3 years, if you like, guaranteed home tickets at every game, albeit our season tickets nearly doubled in price in that time, and Ellie's has quadrupled, whatever. That's what happens when you get old. I keep telling her that. But it's crucial. We just need more bums on seats. And that's me talking selfishly, but here's the thought process I've got as well. A kid who was 6, 7 or 8 years old when we were last able to purchase season tickets is now 10, 11, 12 years old. Now, you'll know, some people, and there'll be some people out there going, oh yeah, well I've been going to Forest since I was 5 years old or whatever, but kids' attention span and kids getting into things changes. Now, at that time, my lad was 7, I'd take him to the occasional game and he would sit there sometimes going, are we going home now at half time, or he'd be on his phone in the second half. So it was almost like a waste of a ticket, but I didn't want to force it because I didn't want him to miss out on the most important thing in the whole world outside of family. But he's now, and has been for a number of years, completely obsessed. So I'm like you, Simon. I'm there on a whatever day it is, trying to get tickets. He never gets to sit with me unless I swap tickets, which obviously I would never do because you're not allowed, with my wife. So my wife sits with him either in a family stand or wherever he can get tickets, really. And it's the same for so many people. If they stick a few more seats on, another 5,000 or 6,000, whatever it is, then, because unlike some, yes, we know you could put 60,000 seats there when we play Liverpool or Man United or whoever and we sell out. I get that, and that's nice, and thanks to all those folks that want to go to the big games. But like you, it's a date. I want to go to every game, but sometimes it could be Brentford or Leicester became big, which shouldn't have been, or Bournemouth at the start. For the first 10 games of last season, pretty much, I had no problem. Then it started getting tough, and sometimes we're in balance. And that's something that is a fantastic problem to have, but it's also, and you've said it, a problem that can be significantly solved with an extra 5,000 or 6,000 seats on a regular basis.
Yeah, there are gonna be a lot of people unhappy in the short term, aren't they, when that Peters Taylor stand is closed and season ticket holders are relocated elsewhere. There's going to be a lot of unhappy fans not being able to get tickets, and Chelsea and I are likely to be in that bucket as well. And like you say, Mollo, you and some of your family members too. How are they going to cope with that, do you think, Chelsea, in terms of from a PR perspective? Because it's going to be difficult for the club to manage, isn't it? But having said that, though, the long-term aim, as Mollo said, is going to resolve a lot of those issues. So short-term pain for long-term gain.
Yeah, I think something happened similar down here in Ipswich at Portman Road. A lot of fans had to be relocated for season ticket holders, and they weren't happy. And you can understand that. You know, they could have been going for decades as a season ticket holder in the same seat. It's just become a ritual every Saturday. But like you said, it is the short-term pain for long-term game. I mean, Nuno, Marinakis, players, everyone said we are the 12th man. And if that means us, having more seats to become an even stronger 12th man, it's only going to help us in the long term anyway, with seasons to come. I get the frustration, but equally as well, this has been a long time coming, and I mean, the council haven't made it easy for Forest, have they? Let's be honest. Marinakis has had to, threaten, okay, that's fine. Well, we'll relocate then, no problem. And I think after that threat, they realised, actually, we do need to, allow them to have it. And rightly so. We've been there for, over 100 years? That's been the home of Forest. So why would anyone want that to change?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Chelsea, one thing, pick up on one point you made there. It's only another planning meeting that they have to do. There's nothing guaranteed. And already there's a bit of, I don't want to say naming and shaming, but from my point of view, not to get into politics, there's a number of councillors already opposing it, like the councillor for Lady Bay. And they're talking about more people and this, that. And I'm like, shut up. There was 49,000 people there at one point years ago.
Yeah.
Let's just say a very carefully worded email from me has gone to my local councillor.
Yeah.
I live, not a stone's throw. Well, not unless you're Superman, I suppose. I live sort of just about walkable from the ground. If any councillor opposed it, then I would have been saying, you're not getting my vote.
Yeah.
And I'd happily tell people that. I'm not into party politics at my age anyway. So if anyone knocked on my door during the general election, my question to them was, what's your view on the city ground development? And that was it.
Yeah.
Nothing else mattered. Well, of course, other things matter in the bigger scheme. But yeah, it's going to be a very big meeting. Hopefully it doesn't get bogged down with Japanese pondweed again.
Interestingly, I spoke with an NFFC steward who was attending the Ipswich Forest game at Portman Road and having a really good conversation with him about the redevelopment. And he was of the opinion, and I don't know how accurate this is, that they are going to approach the building the new stand in much the same way Liverpool approached theirs, in that they're going to be building the new structure behind the existing Peter Taylor stand. So they're going to go up and over the Peter Taylor stand, so that the top tier of the new stand will then be populated with seats first, and then they're going to remove, obviously, the roof to the Peter Taylor stand as it currently is, and then the seats underneath that. So the migration of those lower what would then be the lower tier Peter Taylor stand, maybe move them up to the upper tier of the Peter Taylor stand whilst the lower tier is constructed. So interesting concept in terms of how they're going to develop that, and if that minimises disruption in terms of fan attendance, then great. That can only be a good thing.
Yeah, they're trying to make it as smooth as they can, the transition, isn't they, to not disrupt too many people. So you got to appreciate it for that.
Yeah, not to throw a negative at it. And if you ever had, if you ever had a wall built or a small extension on your house or a kitchen put in, once the project starts, all of the best laid plans go out the window. It's going to take a month, 8 weeks later, you're still buying takeaways because you've got no kitchen. Yeah, things like that. I know that's their plan. I've heard that as well, Simon. But I take that with a large dollop of salt, because ultimately, it's not because they're doing anything nasty. Ultimately, if it's going to cost millions upon millions more not to remove the Peter Taylor stand, then that's what they'll have to do. The only thing I did think of, I was at the ground recently. I was thinking to myself, everything they built on the back of the main stand, where's all that going to go during that time? Porter cabins, what? It's so interesting.
Yeah, those two big stars and the big NFFC model as well.
Yeah.
Where what was the point of doing all of that, concreting them into the ground, only to have to then ship them out somewhere else?
But where the changing room's going to go? Where's the press room going to go? Where's the medical room's going to go? Where the baths? Because obviously showers. All the different things. I mean, I know they can put porter cabins out there for the officers, and that's probably not an issue. But where's all that going to go? It's interesting and exciting, really exciting.
I'd heard the press corps were going to be relocated to the containers between the Trent End and the Brian Clough stand. That's where I heard the press were going to be relocated to, yeah. But on another tidbit as well from this aforementioned steward who I was talking to, he interestingly told me how many fans were on the waiting list for season tickets at the beginning of last season, before they had the season that they did. Guess how many guess how many fans they had on the season ticket waiting list?
12,000.
No.
More.
Chels.
Oh,
yeah.
15?
78,000 on the waiting list for season tickets, and that was before last season. So imagine how that has now grown, given the performance and how well they played last season. 78,000.
They should call their bluff and send them all an email and say, can you put a £500 deposit in to be able to go into a ballot to get one of the new season tickets available? See how many of those 78,000 come up trumps.
Bearing in mind it costs £10 to go on the season ticket waiting list. That's 780 grand in their pocket, just like that.
Yeah, well, there's 2, possibly 3 now in our household on that waiting list.
Yeah, we're on it as well. But whether we'll get them, who really knows?
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, moving to a couple of brief things on the pitch. Rumours are that Nico Williams and Ola Aina are on the verge of signing new deals, if you believe John Percy of The Telegraph. But somebody who has signed a new deal is Willy Bolly, who's now extended for 1 year. Quick thoughts on those guys. Willy Bolly's a bit of a surprise, given he's a fringe player, but the other two are must signings, aren't they?
Yeah,
Mollo.
Sorry. I think the 2 fullbacks is a huge one, especially with the interest that's been in Aina. I actually think Willy Bolly's a no-brainer because of the age of where he is in his career. It's kind of the exact opposite of Toffolo, isn't it? Toffolo, we're gutted to see him go, not necessarily for football reasons, but he has said he wants to play football in front of his son. I know you cried, Chelsea. Obviously, I didn't, because I just don't have emotions. But it was just bad hay fever. But that video on Toffolo. What a man. Just when you thought you couldn't love Toffolo more, you realise that it's all about doing it for his son. And he wants his son to see him play football. And whether that be in Scotland or Championship or a different lower Premier League team, which hopefully they're lower than us next year, any of those teams promoted, what a guy. Whereas Bolly, he knows he's not going to play. He probably can't play week in, week out. We've seen before. He's the perfect guy to come in and be a calming influence in a cup game or a European game, maybe. Perfect guy on the training ground. 10 minutes at the end against Villa where he just helped us shut up shop. I just think it's going to be hard to offer someone a come to Nottingham Forest and be fifth choice centre back and don't play much, and you're there just to be good that, if we have an injury crisis, how glad will we be of him? But also, it's a very unique niche thing, and he's the right time of career, so I think he's a no-brainer and brilliant news.
Do you agree, Chelsea? Are you impressed with Willie's extension? I'm sorry, I had to get that one in there. There's been so many jokes on social media. I needed to get it in there, but he is. Yeah, do you echo what Mollo says there?
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Willie's extension. If you but yeah, no, I was absolutely. Willie Bolly is one of these players where he. Don't look at me, Mollo. Don't look at me. So yeah, I think he's one of these. Sorry.
A lot of editing on this one.
How old are we?
It's never not funny, is it?
I know. Oh dear, God,
I'm very happy with Willie's extension. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna send this to your dad, Chels.
I'm very, as a 51-year-old man, I'm very happy with the Willie extension. There we go.
Oh God, sorry about that. Whoa, I hate my laugh as well, so that's going to be great to hear.
Constant editing there.
Yeah.
Cut.
The good thing is I can just highlight everything in one go and just cut it, delete it.
Okay. I have composed myself. I have wiped away my laughter tears. Whew, okay. But yes, I am very, very, very happy with that. He's one of these people where he just comes on the pitch, he just gets the job done, dusts his hands off and goes home. That's Willy Bolly. And I think as well, because of Nuno liking a smaller squad, I don't feel like for European football we have got the capacity for that at the moment. So I'm very happy with that. And for him to, I feel confident when he comes on and replay as a substitute as well. So I'm very happy with that for me.
And with that, we'll take a very quick break.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. How can you free up your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders to not only streamline purchasing, but better support their teams so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more about the technology, insights, and support available at amazonbusiness.com.
It's a real privilege to be able to travel and to see different places, taking yourself out of comfortable positions and challenging yourself.
No one builds a legacy by standing still. Start your journey at remova.com.
Your burger is served, and this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. Its sweet profile perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger.
That is one perfect combination. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Right, we're back. So on to the 2025-2026 fixture release then. So that came out early in the week, and they start off with a home fixture against Brentford, finish off with Bournemouth away, and the other fixtures of note just for now are that there is no travel over the Christmas period, having 2 home games against City and Everton. What are your thoughts, guys? Start with you, Mollo, in terms of looking at that fixture list.
Very interesting. It's got so many connotations. It could be good, could be bad. Certain fixtures I personally would be looking out for that I'm sure we'll talk about later. I think it's fair. I think I saw on Sky they were based on last season's position, who's got the hardest start, who's got the easiest start for the first 6 games. And apparently we've got the easiest start, or one of the easiest starts, which I don't really go by that because we had one of the easiest finishes last season as well. That didn't go so well. Give me Liverpool away anytime. Really pleased. I like good spread. Not impressed that there's no away game over Christmas. Having dragged myself up to Newcastle and whatnot over the last few years, I do like one good away day around the Christmas period because everyone's in good spirits. Usually you're not at work and people are off work, so you can have a good day out. And especially, although it's a pain getting there, Newcastle's a great place to visit and there's other great places to visit as well.
Yeah, for me, I was looking at the fixture list and thought, great that they start and finish at home. no travel over Christmas, I've already mentioned, but the first 3 games I didn't realise could all be on a Sunday, because you've got 2 of those 3 are following European games. The Conference League playoff rounds are on the 21st and 28th of August, so the games at Palace and West Ham are going to be moved to a Sunday, you would have thought, pending obviously confirmation they are going to be in the Conference League next season. And then the Brentford game on the Saturday is the same day as a Nottinghamshire T20 game that starts at 11 a.m. that same day at Trent Bridge. So you do wonder whether they will allow that clash to take place, and given the fact that the tickets for the Trent Bridge game have already been obviously on the market for a while, you would have thought the Forest game was a possible candidate to be moved to the Sunday, given how easy it would be to do that. Chelsea, 3 Sunday games, no Saturday games to start the season. You wouldn't have it any other way, though, would you, given the fact that 2 of those are for European football reasons? Well,
yeah, exactly. That's a nice problem to have, really, isn't it? I think I'm more annoyed that there's no Boxing Day game. Oh, I love a Boxing Day game. I know we play on the 27th, so it's not too long to wait, but that's just after Christmas. Yeah, I'm going to say the C word, Christmas. It's just where you end up just going, it's just lovely into Boxing Day. You're all relaxed, the stress is gone, sitting there in front of the telly watching Forest. But I'm just a bit annoyed about that. I think the thing is, when the fixtures have come out the last couple of previous seasons, you kind of look for that bad run-in, don't you? Because you think, oh God, how are we going to cope? The relegation battle, where's that bad run-in? But I have gone in to look in the fixtures this season very much more confident. I think, oh, okay. I'm like, this is not too bad. We can handle that. We can do that with how we played last season. So yeah, I'm quite happy with overall, really.
So we're going to go through the good, the bad and the ugly, your thoughts on the fixture list. But a couple of things I just spotted before we do that. Now, both home and away Premier League games against Newcastle, Tottenham, Fulham, Brighton follow a European game. So that's both home and away games for those teams follow a European game. And obviously it means that Newcastle and Spurs will likely also be playing Forest following a European game, which so that evens out that disadvantage of a short turnaround between games. So I thought that was an interesting observation from the way the fixtures have come out. And similarly, the Bournemouth fixtures, one has a Premier League game after, and one is the other Bournemouth game is before a potential final. So a lot of synergies there between.
Say that again.
Final, Adam. Are you familiar with the word European final? That's
already
nice to talk
booked
about.
My accommodation.
Yeah. Oh. So I mentioned we're going to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly of the fixture list. Start with you, Mollo. What is the good for now?
This could come back to bite me, and it's a very obvious one. With the way the summer's transpiring, I think it's a very good time to be playing Brentford. First game of the season, probably be a draw, but they have been a bit of a bogey team over the years. Not a bad time to be playing them at all.
Yeah, any more good? Or Chels?
Sorry.
Go on, Mollo.
They're all good, just like you said. But yeah.
Carry on with your good if you got some more.
No, that was the main one, to be honest. That was
right. Yeah, Chels, what about your good from the fixture list?
Looking at the fixtures as a whole, when I was going through each month, having a look at who had got home, who had got away, and I was looking through, December, we've got a nice whole 6 games running through. 6 games in the whole of December, and that made me very, very happy. So I thought that's a nice chunk all over the Christmas period. I can escape the stress of Christmas in my household when my mum is running about all over the show, and I can just sit and watch Forest. So yeah, 6 whole games in December, that's my good.
Talking of 6 games, that relates to my good in that, but I'm looking at the first 6 games in that you have 2 promoted teams back to back in Burnley and Sunderland. You've got a decent 2 good first home games against Brentford and West Ham, certainly winnable. You've only got 1 elite team in that first 6, and that's Arsenal. And all of those 6 are before the Europa Conference League phase, which starts on October the 2nd. I know you've got the playoff game included in that, the 2-legged playoff game, but the phase for the Europa Conference League, when things start to get really tough, in Europe. All of those 6 games are before that phase, so a really good opportunity to get off to a good start. Now, the bad, Chelsea, anything bad about the fixture list that you noticed?
The trauma of being a Forest fan previously just like was knocking in my brain when I saw that the last game of the season is Bournemouth at home. Had to just, my heart did drop into my stomach a little bit there. We all know that Bournemouth are kryptonite, that's all I'm going to say. And I always think that last game of the season, you never know how things might pan out. You hope it never goes that way. But if we are coming down to the final couple of games of the season and it's Bournemouth, the last one at home, not going to say I feel overly confident, but that's my bad, and I'm just not going to try and think about it too much.
It's funny, Bournemouth are also part of my bad as well, Chelsea, in that 2 of the 3 longest trips of the season are both in October, Newcastle and Bournemouth away, and both of them follow a European game as well. So from a fan's perspective, there's going, and particularly looking at you, mentioning no names, but looking at you, Mollo, here, you're going to have potentially a busy week those weeks with long distance travel involved, certainly for those Newcastle and Bournemouth games, and they're the 2 of the 3 longest trips this season, back-to-back away games.
Absolutely, and I think if it's an away game in Europe, I presume they won't both be, but one of them will be. One of the things I'll be doing is looking at flights out of wherever and back to Newcastle or back to Southampton or somewhere down that end to save the hassle of going home, maybe a night's kit and go straight down. I hadn't looked at it from that perspective, to be fair. It's a really good spot. My bad, I got 3 really. Firstly, and this is perhaps when the players are at their most fresh, when they're at their most fit, when they've got pre-season out of the way, we then go into a period of, if you don't count European games, in terms of league games, we're going to a period of 3 months of 3 games a month. Meanwhile, in, say, the Championship, they'll be banging out 8 or 9 games or whatever it is. They'll be doing their Wednesday, Saturday, which means all the teams we play, including us, will be at our freshest. We've obviously got the European part to it in the first bit, but not for the others. We always play Arsenal away before they have their collapse or before they hit a blip. Arsenal, whatever you think of them as a club and respect them as a club, etc., player for player, their first 11 matches anyone. We all know that. We've been battered by them every season away at their place. Again, we're playing them in September before they've had any key injuries, probably, before they hit any kind of a blip. Imagine if we could have played Arsenal away right in the middle of our purple patch last season when we had those 8 wins on the trot. Instead, we're playing them in September while they're fresh. That's one of mine. And finally, don't need to say any more. Chelsea's already nailed it. Bournemouth. That's got 1-1 written all over it. Bournemouth. That's all I'm saying. When are they going to go down?
All right. What about your ugly, Mollo, as well?
Well, that's a standout straight away, isn't it? I called it to a point. First away game, a club we normally have a good affinity with. You just know it's going to be your owners of grass or whatever. It's Palace away. They're going to be... They'll probably make some tifo, or there'll be lots of reference to snitching and stuff. Completely knew that was going to be one of our early games. I've said first game of the season, in the first away game. That's definitely going to be the ugly, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. What about your ugly, Chelsea? No, I don't. I would actually like to clarify. I am not saying you are ugly, Chelsea.
But
it's okay.
You
I'll take
that
it.
With me. Yeah.
I'll take it. Don't worry. My ugly, Leeds. And that's all. And that's all I have to say. Just Leeds in general.
Fair enough. My ugly is the 3 of the last 4 games against Chelsea, Newcastle, and Man United. So if we are in contention for something at the end of the season, and then obviously we know that how difficult it was last year, having, like you said earlier, Mono, a relatively easy looking finale, and they didn't quite get over the line. So imagine how it's going to look when you've got the likes of Chelsea away, Newcastle at home, and Man United away, last away game of the season. That's going to be pretty tricky if Forest are in contention for something, isn't it?
I think, to take you up on that point, Simon, one of my good friends said to me 2 or 3 years ago, Forest don't do boring. So a mid-table boring season just doesn't happen. We'll be in contention for something, whether it's Europe, God forbid relegation, or a cup final. Forest don't do boring, do we? We know that.
No,
we don't. Right, I do want to look at a different, and we've touched on it already, a different impact on how the European games are factored into the fixture list. And I wanted to look at where Forest are playing following a European game. So, for example, will they play a Premier League game at home following a Europa Conference League game where there is no travel, which is obviously good for supporters and for the team? Or will they play a Premier League game following a Europa Conference League game away from home where there is the most travel involved, or following an away Europa Conference League game, which is obviously more tiring for supporters in terms of travelling and the team? Now, there are a possible 15 European match days across the whole season, all the way to the final. So in the playoff and the group stages, there are 8 games, we know. And we already know, because of the way the Premier League fixtures and when the Conference League fixtures have been scheduled, we already know that we're going to be playing 4 home and 4 away Premier League games following a Europa Conference League game. That means, best case scenario, where there is no travel, which is a home Europa Conference League game followed by a home Premier League game, there will be a maximum of 4 games. And that will be West Ham, Leeds, Brighton and Spurs at home. Worst case scenario, where you have a maximum amount of travel involved, so you have an away Europa Conference League game followed by an away Premier League game. There are only 3, and that's there are only going to be 3, but out of possible 4 teams: Palace, Newcastle, Bournemouth and Fulham. So we mentioned it earlier, didn't we, Mollo, around Newcastle and Bournemouth could both follow an away Europa Conference League game. Now, in the knockout stages, there are a maximum of 8 knockout games, not including the final. So we know that that's going to be 4 home games and 4 away games. If we get through them all, we know there will be 5 home and 3 away Premier League games following a Europa Conference League game. That means we're guaranteed to play at least 1 away Europa Conference League game followed by a home Premier League game. So that's obviously good. Best case scenario, where as before, where there is no travel, so you have a home Conference League game followed by a home Premier League game, there is a maximum of 4, as we know. And that's going to be 4 of either Liverpool, Fulham, Villa, Burnley or Newcastle. And then worst case scenario, where it's the maximum amount of travel, so an away Europa Conference League game followed by an away Premier League game, there is going to be a maximum of 3, and that's going to be Brighton, Spurs and Chelsea. So obviously Spurs and Chelsea are the notable ones there, given their also involvement in Europe at that time as well. So just thought it's an interesting way to look at the fixtures. Now, we don't know what combination of how the travel is actually going to work out. So all we can do is make assumptions on when we know when the Europa Conference League games are going to be. We know what the following league games are going to be. Whether the European games are home and away is yet to be determined. But it just gives a sense of perspective in terms of how fans in particular are going to have to cope with the additional travel this season. And obviously, Mollo, you're going to be
tired
as part of that.
I'm poor.
I just thought it was an interesting way to look at that, guys. What do you think, Mollo?
I think we can. I like the way you've said best case, worst case scenario. And some of the best case scenarios aren't bad at all. A lot of those teams will be playing, albeit they might be on a Tuesday or a Wednesday in Europe, but get an extra day or two's preparation. And we know lack of preparation matters. You only have to look at other clubs' results after Europe. However, Forest being Forest, we've just got to assume worst case scenario, haven't we? Let's be honest. I think it makes the signings important. It makes there's no easy opposition, and I know there's been one or two hammerings in that Conference League, but I look back, and Chelsea scraped through their qualifier. I hadn't realised. And if I relate it a little bit to the Club World Cup, time of year for a professional athlete matters. Yes, they're footballers, but they're athletes. We're seeing that, in my opinion, in the Club World Cup. The European teams, if you like, underperforming. Brazilian teams at the, in the peak of their season, up and running. I won't say overperforming. Obviously, some of the minnows are struggling, like the New Zealand side, where half their team couldn't afford the time off work. So in Europe, it matters. If we play a half-decent Romanian or Eastern European or even Finnish team, whatever, and we can't just go out there with the reserves and say, leave loads of players at home to get ready for the game. That's asking for trouble if you don't respect the opposition. It's going to be interesting, but what a great problem to have is what I'd conclude. Travel-wise, from a supporter's perspective, I'll get my head around that if we get through and after the draw. I've already consigned myself to being broke. Gutted about the Palace game because there's a family holiday I can't get out of, and I know it's going to change to the Sunday. And if it was Saturday or Friday night, I would have been going and just. But anyway, these things happen. Family first and all that.
Yeah. So are you away members then? Going to be away members then this year, Mollo?
Yeah. Going to be away member, same as I was last year. Unless we play a European team with, I don't know, how many is it? 400 or less tickets. I've got a pretty good chance. If it's 1,500, then I'm guaranteed. The problem I might have, I worry about how the club will look at this. If we're playing out in, let's say, is it Baku, where Chelsea played last year? A friend of mine who's a Chelsea fan, it took him about 26 hours to get home the next day. That's going to be a struggle. Wow. I know we're not going to be playing on the Saturday, we'll play Sunday, but the whole thing's a struggle, and the club are going to have to be sharper getting their tickets out on time. Most games they've been brilliant, but every now and again, and I know it's probably the opposition club, they don't always send the tickets out that far in advance. It is usually at least a week or more. But if you're buying 5 tickets or 8 tickets all together with your mates, as the main ticket guy, or 6 tickets I should say, then you've still got to distribute them. And I'm not going to take them with me to Baku just in case I get delayed and have to go straight there. So it's the devil is in the detail always, isn't it? And nobody's going to care, apart from your mates. No one's going to care if there's a few Forest fans stranded in Baku, missed the kick-off. I remember missing when we went to Munich, last European competitive game we played away, being in Munich, getting stranded there longer than expected and getting home taking longer than expected for lots of reasons. And we played an FA Cup game on the Saturday. We didn't get back in time. So there's things like that. But what a magical problem to have to solve.
Yeah, and if you're going to be missing that Palace away game, Mollo, due to that aforementioned holiday, then I know a couple of people who would be more than willing to take advantage of your away membership if it was available.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that anymore. We're not allowed to share the tickets. And I'm currently in a process, this is so bad, of trying to get a flight 24 hours later. Oh no! What's one day's holiday compared to first away game?
Yeah, Mollo's family. If you're listening, then do not take any notice.
No. Well, we're away potentially for May half term next year. So anywhere we're going, they're saying I've already checked the flights from wherever to what's it called, Leipzig.
Right. On that note, we'll take a very short break.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
Choice Hotels get you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. And as your vacation maximizationer, I'm going to make sure you hear the maximum sizzle of Comfort Inn's free hot breakfast. Let's get real close. Maximum apple. Now that's fresh crispimization. Maximum waffle. Hear that crunch. And that's maximum coffee. Oh yeah, that's the pour I'm talking about. Breakfast maximized before hitting the road. Check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Right, we are back for the last part of the show, and we are going to be talking of away games, we're going to be doing an away travel quiz, which I'm going to put to you both. So we are going to start. This is based on Premier League fixtures only. Okay, so we're going to start with the first question is, which ground is the shortest trip this upcoming season and how many miles? We'll start with you, Chels.
Oh, no, I need time to think. I need to, shortest in distance.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so bad at geography. Oh, gosh.
Think logically in terms of where teams are located.
When I say I'm bad at geography, people, I'm bad at geography. Honestly. Mollo, you go first.
I'm going to say, with a great deal of thanks to what Sunderland did, I'm going to say Villa Park, 35 miles.
Right, Chels, can you top that? He reckons 35 miles. How many miles to Villa Park? Because Villa Park is the right answer.
Oh,
but
gosh.
For an extra bonus point, can you guess how many miles?
I thought, again, where is it on the map? But, I don't think it's that. 45?
49 miles, so I'll give you that one. So point apiece, 1-1.
I mean, I'm really good at geography.
Yeah. Right, okay, so Villa Park's the shortest, which is the longest trip, and if you've been paying attention, you would have taken note from a location I said earlier. So which stadium is the longest away and how many miles? Chelsea, do you want to go first, or do you want to wait for Mollo again?
It must be Bournemouth.
It is Bournemouth. Yeah, point for you. How many miles?
Oh, gosh. Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just trying to call maths at my strong point over.
Were you good at school?
Do you know what? I actually was, really strangely, but I had to work hard for it.
But not maths or geography.
Not maths or geography. English, great. I don't know. I'm just going to go 180.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, not far off actually. Mollo, can you beat that?
I was doing it in a different way because I'm thinking how long the journeys have taken me. I'm kind of figuring it from that.
Yeah.
I was thinking without the rubbish you get of 3 hours, so 180. So I'm going to go 181.
Oh,
clever guess because it's actually 197.
Wow.
So
gosh,
point apiece. Yeah,
I
that is the
actually would have
longest.
said Newcastle as the furthest. So
yeah, that is 161.
Oh,
okay.
The second furthest was Brighton, 189. So
okay,
obviously not too far away from
Horrible
Bournemouth.
to get to.
yeah.
Right, how many? So this is a geography type question. So I'll let Mollo go first on this one. How many different cities or towns will Forest visit this coming season?
It says 19 games. So Manchester, Liverpool. Oh, there's loads in London, isn't there? I'm going to just throw it out there. I'm going to say 11.
Okay, Chels. Mollo's gone for 11, more or less.
I reckon. Trying to think. 13?
10, the answer.
I just suddenly thought it must be less. There's at least 5 London teams, isn't there?
Yes, you've got Newcastle, Sunderland, Leeds, Manchester, Burnley, Liverpool, Birmingham, London, Brighton and Bournemouth.
How many of those are not cities? Sorry.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, for all intents and purposes, I've classed Burnley as a city, and Wolves and Villa are pretty much in Birmingham, I think.
Oh, I see what you did there,
Yeah.
Wolverhampton's a city now.
Well, that's true.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Burnley is a great away day as well.
Yeah, I'll give you that 11 then if we say Wolves as a city.
It's fine. It's fine.
You have it. You have it.
Right. Continuing the travelling theme, which month of the season has got the most amount of travel and how many miles?
Are we allowed to look at the fixture list?
Yes, if you want that to help.
Just so.
Yeah. Go on then, Chelsea, you got an answer?
Wow.
What month?
Yeah.
October.
And how many miles?
354.
I was at 364.
358.
Oh!
So it is October. So which month has got the least amount of travel and how many miles?
Oh.
And again, you can look at the fixtures to help.
Got it.
Yeah, go on.
April.
Mollo, anything different to April?
Oh, I've got it wrong.
Maybe, maybe not.
No, I'm going to go. Yeah, April.
It's actually November.
No.
Yes, there is one league game in November, and that's
Oh,
Liverpool
yes.
away,
Oh,
which is 108 miles. Sunderland in April.
Oh.
Chelsea is
rubbish.
158 miles. 158 miles.
I didn't spot
Okay,
that.
so
No, I
we'll call
didn't.
it an honorary draw between you both.
But do you know what? That's very amicable, isn't it, Mollo?
I'll take that.
Right.
I should have got April. I should have got the one with the Liverpool one, but my fixture list is tiny at the moment on my phone. That's my excuse.
I've got the nice little fixture list printed out, and I have to say I'm loving the new graphics that NFFC are doing this season. I think they're tremendous. They do a new theme each year, I've noticed, and this theme that they've adopted this year is particularly good, so I do like it. Right, and finally, on to any other business. As Mollo's having problems with his chair.
I would like to do any other business because I would just like, I'm a very smug Forest fan at the moment, and Mollo is very jealous already, but I did get my hands on the new Adidas Samba trainers that came out. I got hold of a pair and a pair for my dad. Mollo did not, so I am just going to speak that very loudly and clearly into the mic.
So a couple of things on that. I remember when we recorded the last show, you were both on there putting your trainers in the shopping cart. What happened to yours, Mollo?
Well, long story short, they didn't have my size. Because I'm Mr. Boring and Average. They didn't have my size. When I went through to go, it was like, run out. And
what size are you, Mollo?
Yeah, not telling you, because you're going to tell me you've got a spare tag.
I was about to say.
8.5.
Yeah, I just get 8.5.
I knew it. You took the last pair.
I did.
This takes me back to the ticket nightmares in the first part of the Premier League season where it was like, oh,
yeah.
But no, I can take that. I've got any other business.
I just want to quickly, before we do that, Mollo, I just want to quickly follow up on the Samba trainers theme with Chels. Now, your dad, does he like his? Has he tried his on yet?
He does like his, and he has tried his on, but he is not wearing them.
Oh, no.
Because he doesn't want to, because he wants to keep them in pristine condition. So it's a collector's item. I will 100% be wearing mine, though, because I want to parade mine about.
So, yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay, he didn't want to be matchy-matchy, didn't he? That's what it is, really.
He didn't want to be matchy-matchy, which I don't know whether to take as a very huge insult, if I'm honest, but, you know.
Okay, Mollo, any other business?
Trainer friends. Yeah, I just want to shout out to the club. My children, ably assisted my wonderful wife, got me the best Father's Day dinner ever. It was Carvery at Forest in the Trent End Lounge. Absolutely brilliant. The food was lovely and everything. Included a mini tour, which was really nice to kind of give you the vibe. The staff were brilliant and it was very, very reasonably priced compared to if you want to go there on a match day, for sure. Massive. There's loads of people there, everyone enjoying it. And what I liked about it, and I don't want it to sell out early or anything, I didn't take my dad. We saw him later because I wasn't sure walking around the stadium and everything, but it was a mini tour. It was perfect.
Oh,
absolutely. Next year I'm definitely taking him. Really, it felt community-ish. You know, with the stress over tickets for a lot of people at the moment, and everything that can be a little bit us and them, not with the club, but the haves and have-nots and that type of thing, it was just brilliant. I was so impressed. Food was fantastic as well, which isn't always the case in when you go into posh boxes and stuff, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you got your meal, Mollo, did you fall off your chair?
Yeah. Well, because it was good and on time.
Yeah.
So, I see. Sorry, I'm slumped in my chair because I don't know what's happened.
Yeah. So talking of stadium tours, I've got my stadium tour booked with Danny for July the 28th. So really looking forward to that. Tried to do it over a weekend, but they're so popular already that doing it on a Monday, taking a day off work, travelling up to Nottingham for the day, and obviously we'll call in, Mollo, if you're going to be around for a cup of tea. So we're really looking forward to that. July the 28th. That should be a lot of fun. I mean, I've done it. Yeah, I've done it. Did it myself a few years back, kind of, in terms of went round the old boardroom in the tunnel, walked up the tunnel on the night of a league game against Birmingham. I think I told this story once before around taking penalties on the City Ground pitch. So that part of that evening was a little bit of a tour, but given the refurbishment they've done and the museum as well, really looking forward to doing that this year.
You'll love it, and you'll notice a lot of changes, but then the museum on its own is absolutely brilliant. I feel like there's a market potentially to have the museum open on almost a daily basis when there's not tours going on. Yeah. And I get they'd probably have to charge a little bit to get in, because otherwise it's not fair on people doing the tour. But the museum is absolutely magnificent.
Yeah. And last thing I want to bring up is that the club have announced their first pre-season friendly against Birmingham on the Saturday, 2nd of August, which is the Trevor Francis Memorial match. So what a great way to honour him and his memory. So that is their first pre-season game. And rumours are that there are a couple of other friendlies against Fulham and Estoril in Portugal in July, when presumably they're on their training camp. So keep an eye out for official announcement on those particular fixtures. Right, that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks very much, guys, for joining. Chels?
Thank you very much. It's a great podcast.
And it's an extended podcast this week, wasn't it, Chelsea?
Yeah, it most definitely was. I apologise for the laughing.
Yeah, and Mollo, thanks again.
Thank you. And I think once you've edited it, it'll probably be down to about a 20-minute full podcast with the laughing and the Big Willie extension moments.
Do you know what? We all knew what each other were thinking on that bit when you asked.
Yeah.
It's just never not funny.
It's not. On that note, we'll draw the episode to a close. Thanks, everybody, for listening. As always, please give us a rating and a review to enable us to reach more Forest fans. And in the meantime, we shall return with another podcast very soon.
Is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.